Oh, hi, Mason the Brock Henderson here. It sucks. Alright, fine. Talk about this stupid show. Batwoman, Season 1, Episode 16, Through the Looking Glass. Because Alice in Wonderland, guys. Alice, it's all about Alice. Oh my gosh, she's such a great villain, isn't she? Oh, God. It's all so dumb. So let's get started. First of all, everything to do with Luke in this episode is just completely ridiculous and stupid because it's so obvious. I mean, we've already seen from Jacob's point of view, we've seen that apparently there was some shady stuff going on with Lucious'S death. So that means there's a pretty good chance that Reggie Harris was not the killer. And yet we're supposed to be completely shocked whenever we find out, guys, he might not be the killer. I know we've been giving you all of the information that you need to know that he's probably not the killer in the past few episodes, but guys, he might not be the killer. It was played very much like that. Like, just every moment in this episode that dealt with Reggie Harris, it was set up as if we were supposed to be just so shocked that he might not be the guy that killed Lucius. I mean, they're in the courtroom, and the judge is going all over all this stuff, and just like, well, it appears that the previous judge did say that he wanted to rush the verdict, and then on top of that, Reggie Harris said his whatever it's called, his confession was coerced by a now known corrupt GCPD officer. So, yeah, there's enough in here for a retrial. I'm thinking that's fair. Mary, no way. No way? How could you say no way? Clearly there's enough there to say maybe there needs to be a retrial. Like, it's stupid. And then Luke goes and confronts him. I don't know what he was planning on doing. Just run up there and just like, hey, I'm angry. I'm like, oh, you're going to fight him? You're going to kill him like Kate now? Like, is everybody just going to turn into a murderer by the end of the season? But then, of course, the guy's just like, man, I'm sorry about what happened to your dad, but I didn't do it. And I'm just like, oh, no way, he didn't do it. And then he gets shot. And I'm like, well, there goes that story. I mean, I thought they were setting up for something there, but then they just kill him off. Okay, well then never mind. I guess there was not supposed to be any story here. It was just, we need to make it seem like, oh guys, he's definitely the one that did it. There's no doubt. He's getting a retrial? How dare he? He didn't do it? Oh my gosh, what a twist. It's all played for toddlers. You know, anybody that's stupid enough that you haven't figured it out by now, you're just sitting here going, why? Why are we acting like this is new information? So all that was really dumb. Everything with Sophie and Julia in this episode was really dumb too. Like, Sophie's trying to track down these leads for Jacob. Julia saves her life somehow, just happens to be there at the right time. So stupid coincidental. But then, of course, you know, they're tracking down all these people that are involved in the case. Nobody thinks to call Jacob and say, hey, somebody put a hit out for Sophie. Probably need to keep your head down too, because if you're looking into this and you hired Sophie and she got targeted because of this, there's a very good chance that somebody's going to put a bounty on your head. Thankfully, he just happens to look down and see the little red dot. Okay, good job, writers. You wrote that he looks down and sees the red dot like most people would definitely not do in real life. Because I know all the times that I'm walking around and I'm talking on the phone, I just normally like look down at my chest and go, whoa, there's nothing there. Okay. So it's a good thing he happened to do that right at the time that the guy was aiming for his chest. You know, I mean, most snipers would probably be aiming for the head, but this sniper, he likes to aim for the chest because that makes it easier if somebody just happens to look down and see the red dot. Good job, writers. You wrote Jacob so he could save his own life. And then he nails a shot with his freaking pistol. The guy was setting up with his sniper rifle, and you're really telling me that Jacob's just like, huh, bop, 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 and just hit him, killed him, boom, like that. He's just that good of a shot, I guess. It's all so dumb. So I guess this is going to be the story now, though, is just them going through I guess trying to figure out who actually killed Lucius Fox. I don't know why this is a story, but sounds like that's what's gonna be the story for the final few episodes, because Alice is now locked up. Oh, and also the final scene between Mary and Luke. I still don't know if they're trying to set them up as a couple or not. It definitely feels that way the more that they show them together. But yeah, he goes in there and Mary's like, I know you may not want to hear this, but I don't think Reggie killed your dad. Oh my god. Like, we haven't already figured this out by now. Let's just hammer it home with Mary also telling Luke, hey, I think this is the truth. No duh! So then we talk about everything going on with Alice in this episode, and it's just all so dumb. Her managing to swipe Jacob's gun at the beginning whenever he's burying the body. I get the fact, yeah, your daughter just killed somebody, the one that's not already crazy. I get that that's very distracting. However, you really just let her take your gun that easily, dude? You let her out of the handcuffs for some reason? I don't get it. It's just so Alice can run away. But then she's like, but I need to go get Mouse because I guess somebody's coming for her. I don't know. It seems weird that just all of a sudden, I guess there was that one earlier episode where somebody was trying to kill Batwoman, and so she stole the gun, gave it to that one guy, whose name escapes me. He was almost like a discount Deadshot, is what I saw him as. But she gave him the gun to kill Batwoman, but then she took out the part that made sure it didn't, and he was like, she won't be happy. So I don't know who the she was, and maybe that's who she was trying to please, or she said something about, like, I wronged somebody one time, so I don't know what all that's about, but whoever it is wiped out her gang, and I guess was coming after her, for some reason, and now she's just in Arkham with Mouse. I will say, I mean, on Kate's side, at least for once, I don't know, like, she didn't get played by Alice, but they're playing it as though Alice wasn't going to betray her, and I really highly doubt that. I mean, come on, it's Alice. Of course she's going to betray her at some point. I don't know how. She probably was going to do something before she left, but yeah, they played it as though, like, no, I wasn't going to do it, and now you're betraying me by locking me in here. How dare you? And they're making it like this huge emotional scene where she's just, like, crying and the music is swelling, like you're supposed to feel so bad for Alice. I'm like, does the musician, does the director, do they not realize we don't give a shit? Do they not understand that we don't care? We don't care about any of this. We don't care about Kate. We don't care about Alice. We don't care about their story. And I'm certainly not going to feel bad for a girl. Yes, she went through a lot that turned her into the psychopath. I'm not saying that she didn't. However, I'm not going to sit here and go, poor Alice. Gosh, after all she's been through, now her sister's just locking her in an insane asylum where she belongs? Oh no. I won't wipe a tear away. It's just so sad. Like, no. Nobody should feel this way. Nobody should care. Much less feel bad for the psychopath. It's so dumb. And I gotta say, her acting in this episode just got 5 times worse. It was already bad. Like, I've talked about before how I'm not convinced that she's actually crazy. It seems like an actress putting on a performance is what it's always felt like. But in this episode in particular, she went really off the rails bad. Like, it felt less like somebody trying to seem crazy. It felt more like somebody who's just bad at acting, honestly. Again, I don't know if this is the actress's problem or if this is the director's problem, but one of them has gotten this entire season wrong with her character. So I don't know. And I know this isn't going to be the end for her because the final episode of the season is called Oh Mouse. So clearly their story is not done. I was really hoping it was, but I'm guessing the next couple episodes are going to be about Lucious's killer, and then I don't know, Alice is going to break out because Arkham security is the worst. Which, I mean, that's actually true to Batman in general. How many times have Batman villains escaped from there? But the one final thing to talk about in this episode was just how, I don't know, how funny it is to me that for most of the season, Kate has just been getting her ass handed to her. And then in this episode, she manages to take on 3 Arkham guards all by herself. Like, is that supposed to show how bad the Arkham guards are? Or is that supposed to be like, oh no, guys, I mean, I know a couple episodes ago she got taken down by one girl, and not even a girl with, like, superpowers or anything, just a random girl who actually had some sort of blood deficiency, which I would assume makes her weaker, but whatever. She got taken out by her a couple episodes ago, but now she's grown enough in that short amount of time to take on 3 huge guards. That's right. Ignore that. That's my computer. I mean, it just... you gotta have some sort of consistency. Okay, seriously, what is going on over there? You have to have some sort of consistency, though. I mean, if she can't take on one girl, Nocturna, who, as far as I know, didn't have any powers and was just, I guess, a decent fighter, if she can't take her on, she's not going to take on 3 muscly guards at Arkham. Unless they're just that bad, which they don't seem to be. So it just, I don't know. They want to show that she's strong at certain points, but then at other points, whenever they need Alice to step in and save her life, and like, oh, maybe there's still some Beth left in her, that's when all of a sudden now Kate can't hold her own in a fight, so that way Alice has to step in and help her. Just, you couldn't show her getting, like, I don't know, bit or something, and then the ketamine was setting in, and that's why she was starting to lose the fight. No. It's just the other girl was stronger than her, but now she's stronger than 3 grown men. So, totally balances out, right? Stupid. Anyways, got 4 more episodes. 4 more episodes. You're going to keep me company through this. On to the next one. See you there. And now episode 17, A Narrow Escape. So this one was a little bit better, mainly because while I was watching, my Quilava turned into a Typhlosion, so that was awesome. But everything else sucked. So yeah, it's just... I mean, where do I start? Well, actually, I do know where to start, because there was one line from the last episode. It was covered up by so much other shit that I forgot to address it. The moment where Kate was like, wait, you led Cartwright to me? You wanted me to do all of this? This was all part of your plan? That line, I remembered that I forgot about it because they repeated it in this episode like it was some incredibly powerful moment. Again, for toddlers, maybe. But for anybody with a brain, oh, God. I forgot I should not be drinking soda while doing reviews. Of course, that was the plan. Of course. I mean, really. God. Oh, it's just, maybe if they hadn't showed us any of what Alice was doing, maybe if they hadn't hinted toward Alice's plans or anything, but we saw many a time how she wanted to bring Kate to her level. So this line from Kate where she's like, this is all part of your plan, maybe for her it's kind of a revelation, which it should have been glaringly obvious, but whatever. Maybe for her it was, but for us, we already know this. But the show is treating it like, oh, this is heavy. This was all part of Alice's plan, guys. Can you believe that? Yeah, that's what she was showing us this entire season. So anyway, we get to this episode, and a lot more stupidity. First of all, you would think, and don't get me wrong, I know they're showing Arkham is not very well maintained, which I get. You know, it's always been that place in the Gotham mythos that's very dark and foreboding, and it doesn't treat its inmates very well. I get it. You know, I get that's the point. But you would still think that somebody would have talked to one of the doctors there and said, hey, for our sake, because if we don't keep them separate, they might try to organize an escape attempt or something. For our sake, let's not put Mouse and Alice in the same group and allow them to see each other. Because that's just, it's asking for trouble. You're letting them not only see each other, but also be in the same talk group? Of course they're going to plan something. And for some reason, Tommy Elliott, you know, he's in there, which, I mean, I guess, he just kind of went from, he was trying to, I guess, take down Bruce Wayne's legacy to suddenly now he's crazy in Arkham and oh, Bruce Wayne's my best friend and he loves me, no, and somehow manages to get a shiv, I don't know how, so which Alice is then prompts him to use in her gut so that she can steal it, which, do they not do body checks or anything? Because honestly, I mean, the scene where you see he has the shiv, it's literally just sticking right out of his shoe. You just have to look. You just, hey, doctor, eyes right there. He's got a shiv in his shoe. That's odd, isn't it? Should we do something about this? Should we maybe do something about this? So that's already dumb. And then she gives the shiv to Mouse. So then in his next session, he kills this doctor, whatever. I forgot his name because I really don't care. Kills him and then takes his face and puts it on. Which, here's many, many issues. First of all, what did he do with the bodies? He just goes in, cuts the face off, puts it on himself. What did he do with the bodies? And is nobody going to be like, hey, where's Mouse? Nobody's going to question that Mouse is just gone. Nobody. Mouse, the guy who wears other people's faces, is gone. And nobody's going to go, wait a minute, guys. He might have killed somebody and put on their face. So, already two big, big problems right there. Also, you've got the fact that how did he do everything else? Like, it's one thing to cut off his face and put it on, which it shouldn't be that easy. It's not that easy, really. Let's just be perfectly honest. You can't go up to somebody, cut off their face, and then just... and now you're just wearing their face. You can't do that in real life. So it's already kind of a big plot hole. But how did he do the hair? And again, he just takes the clothes off the body, but what does he do with his clothes? And what does he do with everything else in there? And all the blood that's probably in there right now. So, yeah, huge plot hole there. And then to top it all off, they show him coming up to Alice, and she's all like, oh, doctor, whatever your name is, and like tracing his face with her finger. I'm just like, okay. There are other doctors and security guards in the room, right? Right? No, nobody's going, why is Alice flirting with the doctor? I thought she didn't like him. Something's weird here. Nobody questions anything. And again, I get Arkham is not the best maintained place. I get that that's something that is from the comics. It's from, all of the past stuff that I've seen about Arkham. Typically, it's not very well maintained and it's very easy to get out of there. I get all of that. But this is just a next level stupid, right? Like, this is stupidity on another level. This belongs on a comedy show, not on a superhero soap opera, really. Like, oh, God. So all that was really dumb. On top of that, we find out more about Lucious's killer in this episode, which I didn't think we would actually find out about all of this in one episode, but it's done. So I thought was building up to be an epic conclusion to the end of this series, where it's like, oh, we got 3 episodes. Let's tell the story of what actually happened to Lucius. They're like, no. We got this. 1 episode. Boom. Detonator shows up. It's a copycat. It's actually this one guy on the Crows. The one guy that Jacob talked to, and he's like, sir, that's a bit of a conspiracy theory, isn't it? Like, to say that somebody on the Crows... that sounds a little crazy to me. He's the bad guy. Shocking, right? Like, there's just no way you could have possibly guessed that. Oh, I didn't say it on the review, but I had the thought. I'm like, if he turns out to be the bad guy, that would be... I hate my computer sometimes. But that would be the stupidest twist in the world. To have the one guy that Jacob talked to that said somebody working on the inside of the Crows is just impossible, and just basically called him crazy for it. To have him be the bad guy would just be the dumbest twist in the world. And then they did it. I'm like, of course the show would do that. So yeah, and apparently he was doing all this for Tommy Elliott, so even the person he was working for, even that doesn't matter anymore, because Tommy's already in Arkham. So who cares? So even that story is now done. Just, oh God, there's so much stupidity, and just the lack of... what's the right terminology? The lack of carrying through, the lack of finishing, I guess. They don't know how to truly tell a story in a way that builds tension, builds emotion. They do it all so quickly, and it's so forced and rushed that you don't feel anything for it. Luke confronting his father's killer at the end, which, go ahead and talk about the editing mistake. I don't know if this is something that's just on HBO Max. It's a mistake that they made when they were, like, putting it up on the streaming service. But am I not the only one that saw that they literally edited in Batwoman mouthing the words, you only have 15 minutes or 5 minutes, I think it was. She said that, no. They cut to her saying that, even though no sound was coming out of her mouth, and Luke was going, stand up, or why'd you kill my father? Whatever he was saying there. They cut to her saying that, and then they cut back to Luke, and then they cut back to her actually saying that. And I'm like, did that just happen? Did they really just have an editing mistake that glaringly bad? I have to know, because I tried to look it up just to see if that was originally whenever the episode was shown on TV, if that was something that happened, and then it carried over to the streaming service. I have to know. Because if it really is, holy crap, who got fired? Because, wow, was that bad. It would have been one thing, because sometimes they do reuse clips or whatever, but to literally use a clip where she's saying something like 3 seconds before she actually says the line and you show that clip again. That's just, you're asking for somebody to call you out, but funny enough, I didn't see anybody calling him out online, which is probably because, everybody wants to prefer to talk good about the show, and there's mostly positive reviews from what I saw online, so I don't get why, because the show's terrible. But yeah, the whole detonator thing, it could have been more interesting, if the detonator was actually the bad guy, because then you're kind of asking, well, what's his motives? He's asking people to basically say, hey, save yourself or save all these other people. Do you want to be a hero today? Like, that could have been an interesting story of why he's doing this. Maybe it has something to do with the fact that Batwoman took a hiatus, and he's like, well, who's the true heroes in Gotham then? But it just turns out to be somebody who is copycatting him, so who cares about his motivations? Because he's literally just doing it as a way to essentially take out any clues of the Lucius Fox case that could lead back to him. And that's basically all it is. So even that part of it, which was slightly interesting to me at first, was like, okay, that's an interesting setup. Doesn't matter, because the guy doing it, his motivations have nothing to do with what the actual detonator wanted to do previously. So, what else? There was a lot to get through. They're apparently setting up a romance between Sophie and Julia, even though Julia and Kate shared a long kiss at the end of last episode. So I don't know if they're just trying to do some forced romantic love triangle drama at the end of the season, which is stupid as hell. You have Mary finally telling Kate, yes, I know you're Batwoman. And it's funny, she's like, it was so obvious, somebody who stood up for me, stood up to what's-his-face back in school for me, and just like, oh yes, it's so obvious. That's why it took you, over half this season to figure it out. It's so obvious, though. It took you forever, but it's obvious. So that was really dumb. There was the random Batwoman that, copycat that tried to, help out, and just, I don't know why. She was just there. The fact that the second building that got blown up just happened to be above Mary's clinic, so that way there was some, again, forced tension out of nowhere. That was dumb as well. Luke's story in this, just could have been interesting. He lost his father, he's confronting his father's killer. That could have been interesting, but what is this all building to? Well, Kate finally tells him the truth at the end of this episode, because he, again, forced contrivance right there. Oh, he said the exact same thing that she said whenever she killed Cartwright. Ugh. And then that's what she's like, I killed Cartwright. And that gets him to stop him. Just like, okay, bully. So that's the only reason why you put Luke through all of this torment of his father killer, or the person he thought killed his father, going free, and then finding his actual father's killer. All of that was just set up for Kate to finally come clean to Luke about what she did, and for him to give her a pep talk at the end of the episode about the fact that Bruce he did kill the Joker. I'm just like, oh, so this Even this Bruce Wayne is less interesting now because he turned into a killer at some point. Good job, writers. You're turning all your characters into homicidal maniacs. Love it. So it's just, if it were solely focused on Luke's story and what it meant to him, could have been something, but because it's focused on trying to build Kate up as a character, I don't care about it because I don't like Kate as a character. She's kind of a jerk and kind of stupid. That's an understatement. She's really stupid. Let's just be honest. So yeah, I think that's about it for this episode. I don't think I missed anything. I probably did, and I'll probably remember it halfway through this next episode, and I'll talk about it at the beginning of the next episode review. So let's just get to it. I'll see you there. And finally, episode 18. If you believe in me, I'll believe in you. Problem is, I don't believe in the show, so I don't care if the show believes in me or not. Sorry, I had to collect myself before digging into this pile of shit. I don't even know where to start. I guess I'll start, first of all, with, the whole premise of this episode, going to get the journal from, what's his name? I've already forgotten the name of Tommy Elliott's moneylender or whatever. But trying to get the journal out of his safe, it's all so stupid. First of all, Tommy Elliott, now working with Alice and Mouse, calls him and is like, hey, I need you to get that for me. Which then, of course, Kate is tapping the phone, so then she gets that information, goes in there with Julia. First of all, meets up with Regan out of nowhere. I'm just like, that was random. Of course, it's not random because the writers needed plot contrivance, so they're like, let's write Regan back in here. And not only that, let's give her a purpose this time. So that was already dumb, and I was just like, this feels pointless and out of nowhere, so it's probably going to go somewhere. And then whenever Batwoman gets the journal and then they show it in the apartment as Kate and Regan are hooking up, I'm like, this is why Regan's back, because we can't just have Kate get the journal. No, we need somebody to steal it back from her. So then we have 2 more episodes to go off of, right? Going after this journal, that's 2 episodes worthy, right? We can stretch out this story even more, right? So anyways, that's already dumb. And then Julia, she's like sneaking through the clubs, turns off the lights, and then gets ambushed, which then Luke's like, it's a trap. I'm just like, okay, ripping off Star Wars. Good to know. Then Kate's in the office. She's like, the journal's right on top of the desk. Julia just got captured. And Luke said, it's a trap. She's looking around the office. She's like, wait a minute, the journal's right on top of the desk. Can you guess what she does? I'll give you a hint. It's stupid. She grabs the freaking journal. I know, right? Thank goodness that there wasn't a button for a bomb on the desk with a button that says, don't press me. Because she would have been like, I feel like I need to press that button for some reason. I'm gonna do it. Oh, I blew up the city. Darn. How many times is our hero gonna get captured for doing something stupid? I talked about this before. How many times has she fallen for Alice's trap? Has she done something stupid and got herself captured, fell right into the hands of the enemy? How many times is that going to happen in one season? I really hope, I don't know who takes over the Batwoman mantle after Kate leaves the show. I really hope whoever it is, they at least write a bit smarter. Because my God, I just would love to imagine Batman, like, when I think about the classic Batman, like the one from the animated series or the one from the Arkham games, one voiced by Kevin Conroy, I would love to think about him walking into an office and there's just a journal on the desk. And he's like, Alfred, I'm going to take it. And Alfred's like, so, you think that's a good idea? And he's just like, yeah, it's just sitting here for me to take. I'm going to take it. And then grabs it and then gets trapped. I would love to see that happen to him. Because I'm just like, that would be hilarious to see Batman fall for such an obvious trap. Because that's Batman. But for Batwoman, because she's already written as a dumbass, this is just perfectly in character, so it's not even funny. It's just like, yep, you fell for another trap. Congratulations, you got caught. They're auctioning off all of your doodads and gadgets and stuff. Congratulations, you did it again. You screwed up again. And it takes Mary, of all people, to come in and rescue her ass. Because we need Mary to have a point outside of just being the stepsister. So let's actually write her a reason by having her sneak into the club, walk in and just like, yeah, I want to buy the suit. Right, because that's how that's how all of these black market auction dealings go. A random person could just walk in and be like, I want to buy that. No. No. The guards at the door are like, you're not on the list. Go. It's not how anything works. You don't just walk into something that's so secretive and private and just, oh, I'm going to put my bid down on it. No. So that was really dumb, too. On top of that, what's really funny to me is the show really can't tell if they want Mary to be intelligent, pretending to be stupid, or if they just really want her to be stupid and just have intelligent moments. Because when she's at the club, she's having those moments. I will say there was one line that was so stupid, it was actually kind of funny. And that was whenever she's talking to the one girl that that's like related to the guy who owns the club. She's like, just imagine me upside down and holding a bedpan full of your puke. She's like, Mary! I'm like, oh my god, that's so dumb, but I kind of love how stupid it is. But, you know, she does do some smart things when she gets to the club to get herself in the room, even though it's completely implausible. But they write her so stupid as well because, you know, when Batwoman first comes back, she has the champagne. She's like, I don't know how you guys normally celebrate, so I'm just here to be the comic relief for the second, but then also to make you feel sorry for me because you don't want me on the team. And that was her whole point. And then after all is said and done, they're like, yeah, you're on the team now, Mary. What does she do? She goes in and she's about to start live streaming the Batcave. Again, do you want her to be smart or do you want her to be stupid? Because that is next level stupid. Like, almost Batwoman stupid. It's so dumb. Oh, this super secret location, and if I'm here, that means I know Batwoman, which would instantly put a target on my face. Let me just tell everybody, hey guys, I'm in the Batcave. I know Batwoman, guys. I know where she... Hey, all the bad guys out there, I know where her secret hideout is. God. So anyways, that's all really dumb. The Julia stuff, I don't know what's going on with her. Like, she claims she was there from SRR, and then some random woman that I don't even know who she is. Oh, I called our informant in SRR, and she's like, I don't know, her whole scene was played up like we were supposed to know who she is, and like this is really big, important character. I have no idea who this woman is. And then Julia, after breaking out of her bonds, snaps the woman's neck. I'm like, oh, okay, so killing is okay for Julia. As much as this show for the past few episodes has like had this whole thing about you don't kill. You know, like killing is not okay. Kate did it and she doesn't feel good about it. Luke was about to do it, Kate had to stop him. And then Julia steps in this episode, she's like, oh, no, I won't tell anyone you're not from SRR. No, you won't. Snap. And I'm like, oh my god, okay. So killing is okay now? What is your message here? The writers just flip-flop so quickly. So after all is said and done, like I said, Regan all of a sudden shows up again. She's like, hey, want to go back to your place? And then, you know, again, the journal so obviously hanging out of the bag. And I'm just like, well, you would only focus on that so that way tomorrow morning when she wakes up and Regan's gone and the journal's gone, we can try to put two and two together. I don't know if I'm smart enough, though. I mean, as somebody who watches this show, tell me, show writers, I need to be held my hand and just pulled along, please. I know that wasn't much of a sentence, but I mean, honestly, that's how much the show has broken my brain. I can't put together sentences. But I mean, it wasn't even enough to just sort of pan by the bag and show that the journal was missing. No, we have to have Kate going and pulling stuff out of the bag. I'm like, oh, gee, I mean, the journal was right on top of the bag, basically, falling out. And now it's gone. I wonder what could have happened. So then Regan apparently being Magpie's sister is a thing. I don't know. Maybe they tried to hint at that in the first episode and I just didn't care enough. like the first episode Regan showed up in, and I just didn't care enough. But can we just talk about how awful Kate is? Like, first she and Sophie hook up as her Batwoman. First they hook up, and then she's like, okay, she needs time to do her own thing, because she wants to come out to her mom and all of that, which apparently she didn't even know about. I'm just like, that seems like something Sophie would have told her, but okay, sure, I'll suspend my disbelief. Because then Sophie tells Julia about it. I'm like, okay, that's very odd. But then Kate goes and kisses Julia 2 episodes ago. Just like, okay, so is that a thing? And then they're showing like Julia and Sophie becoming closer, possibly interested in each other. I'm like, wait, but Julia and Kate just shared a romantic moment. And then in this one, Kate's just like, oh, Regan, you're back? Hey, you want to hook up again? What is this? I'm sorry. Is this how people are? Is this just how people are in this show? Like, ooh, I know I just hooked up with my ex a little while ago and I kissed my other ex a little while ago, but you know what? Regan, we had a little fling. You want to try it again? God, loyalty in this show is just non-existent. So, that's about all the stuff that I can think of for that story at the moment. Oh, there was the other thing, just the one moment that made me laugh out loud. Honestly, I forgot the other moment that made me laugh out loud. The physics denying moments in the show does make me laugh. Like, ironically, but it makes me laugh. Like in the last episode, the bomb blows up and they dive through the door, and like the fire just sort of stops at the door as it closes. I'm like, no, no. Mythbusters isn't around anymore, but if they were still around, they would take that and be like, okay, let's show you how a bomb really works, especially one of that size that's supposed to level a building. Yeah, they're all toast. And then in this one, she jumps off the building to catch the journal that's been tossed like 5 seconds before she even jumps. So she jumps after it, shoots the batarang up, and like within 5 seconds, she's like down, back up with the journal. Like, okay. No, that's not how gravity and no, it's not how any of that works. Like, if the journal was open and like fluttering everywhere, that would be one thing, but she threw it down closed and it was a pretty hefty journal. That thing is at least 3 stories ahead of you, and you're not going to be able to just go whoosh. Like, that's not going to happen. You're going to be about halfway down the tower before you finally reach that journal. Anyways, but the stuff in Arkham is just not really all that interesting either, because first of all, it's probably the worst Hush storyline I've seen, and I've only seen one, and that was in the Arkham games, and that was not done well either, but it was still more interesting than this. I mean, after all this time, why is Tommy Elliott getting his face cut off? Because he doesn't want anybody to know who he is, because he's got to escape from Arkham, and Alice is going to be the one to do it, and she's going to give him his new face. I'm like, okay, so it's not even anything to do with Bruce Wayne really in this, and we do find out he's faking this whole mental illness thing because he doesn't want the death penalty. I'm like, okay, well, at least it wasn't something as stupid as what I thought it was last episode, where he just went crazy out of nowhere. He's faking it this whole time. But yeah, so the plan right now, I don't really get it. So the journal apparently has information on how to kill Batman, which I thought we already dealt with something like this. There was a gun that was supposed to be able to like penetrate the Batsuit. So I thought we already dealt with something like this season. But now all of a sudden there's this new thing. It's like, no, this is the way to take down Batman in case somebody else gets the Batsuit. And I'm like, okay, where did this come from? But yeah, so apparently Alice wanted, I guess, to kill Kate because she's pissed that Kate locked her up in there. Her dad shows up at some point too, and she gets all pissed at him. Which, if they weren't showing us any of the Alice scenes and we didn't see that she had basically taken over Arkham at this point, because nobody does any checks anymore. Like, Magpie was able to get released, and none of the doctors are like, oh, where did Magpie go? No. Nobody does any checkups. Nobody like looks through, is like, wait a minute, Magpie's missing from her cell. Again, nobody's noticing that Mouse is just missing in action. And nobody apparently found the dead bodies wherever he hid them. So apparently it was super easy to take over Arkham. Who knew? But if we hadn't seen all of that, though, the scenes with Beth or Alice and Jacob would actually be kind of like, can we trust her? Because she's sitting there, she's like, Daddy, please get me out of here. But the thing is, you're playing it like we should be feeling an emotion, but we know what's going on. We know she's lying. We know she's taken over the prison and she's actually wanting to stay in here. So the scene you're showing me feels like a waste of time. Because it is a waste of time. It's just, I don't know. I don't know why we're wasting our time on it. But they fake Tommy's death. They put his face on some other inmate, I guess, and hang him, which, again, should easily be seen through because, one, you're probably going to touch the face at some point, and it's just going to come right off, and you're going to be like, oh, wait, that's not Tommy Elliott. I guess by then, it'll be like, oh, well, he's already too far gone. We can't find him. Just look for a guy that's missing a face. It's pretty simple. Or, I don't know, like the inmate checkup again, like nobody's noticed Magpie gone missing. Nobody's noticed that apparently whoever this body actually is, probably another inmate. They don't notice they're missing either. And then at the end, it's like this big dramatic, like, oh, Tommy forgot to tell us one thing, and the music is like swelling, like it's super epic. He wrote it in code, and I'm like, oh, next time on Nickelodeon's Batwoman. Like, it's such a goofy kids show scene. Like, it was so bad. So yeah, I don't know. 2 more episodes. I'm gonna push through it. I'm just hoping, because Kate's not gonna be around next season, which means Alice probably will not be around next season. Just really hoping it gets a bit better, just a little bit, at least to the point where I can admire something about the show. Because right now, again, I can't admire anything because it's just that bad. I think I'm done. I think that's it. Probably missed a few things. It's fine. There's a lot in these episodes that I can rant, rave, and complain about. So I try to get to as much as I possibly can, but I also only have like 45 minutes of space on my tablet to record. So I have to hit about as much as I can. Yeah. It's a struggle. It's a struggle. So, with all that being said, let me know what you guys think down in the comment section below. What were your thoughts of these 3 episodes? Let me know. We can talk about and discuss all that good stuff. Leave a like and subscribe for future Batwoman reviews, and I'll see you guys at the next one. Peace out.